You go to bed tonight. You turn off the light, scroll for a bit, and eventually drift off. 8 hours later, the alarm goes off. Simple. Now imagine doing all of that. Minus the alarm, minus the light switch, minus the ceiling, and instead you're lying in the dark next to a dying fire, surrounded by sounds you cannot identify, some of which are getting closer. What did your ancestors actually do when the sun went down? Most people assume ancient humans ate during the day, collapsed at night, slept 8 solid hours, and woke up. Survival autopilot. Night was for recovery. But that's not what the evidence shows, not even close. Night for ancient humans wasn't just unconscious downtime. It was something else entirely. Something that shaped your brain, your relationships, your creativity in ways that are still running inside you right now. Let's go further back. The first thing to understand, night was genuinely dangerous. Not metaphorically, actually dangerous. Craig Packer at the University of Minnesota spent decades studying lion attack patterns across Africa. His finding, lions prefer to hunt on dark nights, especially around the new moon, when ambient light drops to almost nothing. Ancient humans on the open savanna weren't just nervous after dark, they had a statistically measurable reason to be. So early humans did what made sense. They gathered around fire. Fire kept predators at a distance. Fire meant light. Fire meant you could see what was coming. If you were ancient, your evening plan was essentially stay near the fire or don't wake up. Now here's the part nobody talks about. Sitting around a fire with nowhere to go and nothing to hunt creates something ancient humans had never really had before. Unstructured time. According to anthropologist Polly Wiesner at the University of Utah, who spent decades studying the Zhu-Huanzi Bushmen of the Kalahari, daytime conversations were almost entirely practical. Food, tools, plans, tasks. But nighttime was almost entirely stories. And this is where it gets interesting. Wiesner published a 2014 study in PNAS, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, analyzing thousands of hours of recorded conversations. During the day, 6% storytelling. At night, around the fire, 81%. Ancient humans weren't just sitting there surviving, they were building entire fictional worlds. Characters, moral lessons, supernatural beings, histories of people they'd never met. The forecast for any given evening. Dark, with a high chance of narrative. This matters more than it sounds. Wiesner's research showed that nighttime fire stories were the primary way ancient humans transmitted values, built social trust, and maintained relationships across large distances. Tribes that didn't share territory still shared characters. Your ancestor sitting around a fire 50,000 years ago, telling a story about a hunter who made a fatal choice, wasn't killing time. They were building something that didn't yet have a name, culture. But here's where it gets strange, because there's something about how ancient humans actually slept that overturns almost everything modern medicine has told you about your own body. You've been told you need 8 continuous hours of sleep. That waking up at 3 a.m. is a problem, a disorder, something to treat. Here's what most people get wrong about this. Historian Roger E. Kirch at Virginia Tech spent 2 decades researching how humans slept before artificial light. What he found, buried in personal diaries, court records, and medical texts spanning several centuries, was a consistent pattern across cultures. People slept in 2 separate blocks. First sleep, then a calm, alert waking period lasting roughly an hour. Then second sleep. During that waking hour, usually around midnight, people prayed, reflected. Some visited neighbors. Some had sex. Medieval doctors actually recommended this specific window for conception. The middle of the night, apparently, was considerably busier than you'd think. UCLA neuroscientist Jerome Siegel confirmed this isn't just a historical quirk. His 2015 study, published in Current Biology, tracked the actual sleep patterns of the Hadza, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer groups in Tanzania. They don't sleep 8 hours straight. They sleep in flexible windows. They wake briefly through the night. They adjust. The 8-hour uninterrupted block isn't ancient. It's modern. It may have started with the light bulb, which brings us back to the night. When you wake up at 3 a.m. and your mind goes quiet and sharp at the same time, That's not broken. That's ancient. Your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do 70,000 years ago: waking up, scanning the dark, confirming you're still alive, and using the quiet to process. The campfire is gone. The lions are gone. The stories your ancestors told have long disappeared. But whatever your brain was doing in the dark back then, it's still in there, running the same code. Ancient humans didn't just endure the night, they used it for stories, for social bonds, for a kind of sleep that modern science is only now beginning to understand. Next video takes you even further back, to what happened before fire, when night was something else entirely. If you could spend one night exactly as your ancestors did, which part do you think would surprise you most? Drop it in the comments. If this video was worth your time, subscribe. New video coming soon.